Today marks a very special date in music history.
Go, 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 shorty. It's your birthday.
Hip hop is officially 50 today, emerging from the streets of New York City. It's believed that hip hop was first heard on this day in 1973 at a party in the Bronx. Over the years, hip hop solidified its position as one of the biggest grossing genres in the world. With me now to discuss is Michael Williams, music journalist. Michael, good morning. Good to see you today.
Good morning from the backyards in Oakville.
It's a beautiful day in Southern Ontario. I got to ask you, before we get into hip hop, do you really believe that it's 50 years old today, that it was played for the first time in the Bronx? I find that kind of a crazy story.
Well, it started out as party music. And so the purpose of the three elements of hip hop, the things that became the three foundational elements of hip hop, which is the DJ, the MC or the rapper, the graffiti writer, and the breakdancer. That's four elements. Those four things were always present at a party. And at a party, the purpose of the DJ and the MC and the rapper was always to take the party to the next level. Hip hop is to soul what punk is to rock and roll. It's DIY, it's do it yourself. It's a wonderful ethic, it's a wonderful form of music, and it's a wonderful cultural movement that started, as they say, in New York City and moved across America and across the world. This is the music that everyone of oppression uses to talk about the things that are bothering them or oppressing them. It's also the music that freed up so many young African Americans and Canadians because it was something that you didn't need to go to school for. You could do it in your backyard with a few friends, and if you were good, everybody told you were good. If you were bad, you didn't make it in a battle. So hip hop is just so incredibly important. As you said, it's one of the largest grossing forms of music, and it came from nothing, and the music industry got excited. Why? Because LL Cool J did his very first album in his bedroom. So it was sort of low investment and high profit. When you have artists like Snoop, Dr. Dre, you have the West Coast, the East Coast. Hip hop is as varied as any other form of music, and it's also changed music from beginning to end. You know, when ZZ Top is using musical motifs from Grandmaster Flash, you know, something has changed. The cross-pollination has been incredible, and hip-hop has made music better, basically.
It's hard to remember a time when we didn't have hip-hop. That's why I was sort of questioning whether or not...
the date. Well, you know, it's something that just happened. I mean, it wasn't always called hip hop. Before that, it was called rap. Look, 40 years ago, some 42 years ago, I did a show in Montreal called Club 980. That was the predecessor to Soul in the City. And it was the first show in Canada that was on commercial radio that played rap or hip hop out of Montreal. Hip hop developed sort of like in silos. You had what was going on in Vancouver with the Rascals, in Halifax with MCJ and Cool G. They moved to Montreal. Things began to happen in Montreal. In Montreal, we had groups like Blondie B, DJ Ray, the Quality Crew. Everyone had their groups. In Toronto, you had Cardinal Official. You had Julie Black. You had record stores being involved, like Play the Record, and record stores all over the country helping to produce records and helping people like the Baby Blue Sound Crew. My friend Gene from Play the Record, great man. He put his own money into the music as well as sold the records that made the parties rock. So the importance of hip hop can never, ever be devalued or undervalued. It's quite important in the music industry, but it's quite important in the communities at large, because all you need is two turntables, a microphone, a pocket full of rhymes, and a party to rock, or friends to turn into a cipher and get better. And that's also a wonderful thing, is that young people can do it, and they can get better by doing it within the confines of their own community or their own little clique. And it's an incredible thing that started from nothing and has definitely changed the world musically. Throughout, be it classical music and or jazz. Quincy Jones says hip hop is just like bebop. So the exploratory aspect of it, the wonderful community aspect of it, and the artistic aspect of it is just incredible when you actually sit down and analyze it. It's not just a bunch of people yelling into microphones. It's so, so much more. And when you look at the world and how the world has taken hip hop, and then young people in Iran or Saudi Arabia or just about anywhere, Bosnia, using hip hop to express their angst, their feelings, and their need for freedom within the confines of their own community. So
Yeah.
hip hop has changed the world, and 50 is just the beginning.
Yeah.
Just the beginning. I'm a member of the Zulu Nation, and that was one of the organizations that helped to change the battle aspect, the gang aspect of hip hop into more a creative aspect with Africa Bambaataa and folks like that. You have the native tongues. So there's so many different movements within hip hop that people don't even know about. It's forever changing, and the Canadian hip hop scene, well, of course, we have the largest stars in the world. And way back when, a long, long time ago, when I started at Much Music, you'll see this in the Much Music film. I can tell you this, 299 Queen Street. My very first day at Much Music, I had already had a relationship with Run DMC and the Fat Boys. So my very first day, who came in? Run DMC and Lou Reed. So I had the Kings of Rock and the King of Rock and Roll. I got to introduce them together. That was the highlight for me on my very first day of Much Music, and that's what told me that it would be a good place for me because I could do that.
You're the OG. Thank you.
Seems to be.
Well,
Gray and all.
enjoy this anniversary. You have described for
will.
us the perfect recipe for a good time as you break down what hip hop is. Michael, always great to chat with you. Thanks so much.